Hello and welcome. In this lecture, we'll be exploring character and habit evidence. Our objectives for today are Federal Rules 404, Character Evidence, Rule 405, Methods of Proving Character, 406, Habit Evidence, 412, which is also called a rape shield, sex offenses cases, victim sexual behavior, and we'll conclude. Now, character evidence can be in the form of opinion or reputation, specific instances of conduct, prior crimes, wrongs, or acts. And such character evidence in any of these forms is not admissible to prove that a person behaved at a specific way by any of these type of character evidence when they conduct themselves in any particular manner. Under Rule 404, character evidence in the form of opinion reputation is not admissible. That is, character trait evidence in the form of opinion reputation is not admissible. However, there are exceptions, and there are 4 exceptions. Exception number 1 is that a defendant can offer evidence of his pertinent trait in criminal cases. However, the prosecutor can rebut such evidence. For example, defendant says he's an honest person and the victim is dishonest. 2, defendant may offer evidence of the victim's pertinent trait. And this is subject to limitations established by the rape shield or the Rule 412. And if such evidence is admitted, the prosecutor may rebut it or offer evidence of the defendant's same trait. In homicide cases, the prosecutor may offer evidence of the victim's peacefulness to rebut the evidence that the victim was the first aggressor, should the defendant have brought that evidence. Number 4, character evidence is admitted also in witness impeachment during civil and criminal cases. Specific instances of conduct, which is also another form of character evidence, is inadmissible as a general rule. However, there are situations where it is admissible, which are cross-examination of character evidence, of witness, essential character element, or Rule 412 permits evidence of victim's sexual behavior in some situations. For example, where dependent who did that. Also, to prove consent by the victim. Other crimes, wrongs, or acts is also another form of character evidence. As a general rule, evidence from other crimes, wrong, or acts are not admissible. However, they may be admissible to prove motive, opportunity, intent, preparation, plan, knowledge, identity, absence of mistake, or lack of accident. Now, what it means is, for example, if the defendant has committed an intentional murder and they refuse that it was intentional, they say it was an accident, prosecution may bring a prior crime that the defendant has committed and bring that as evidence that the alleged crime by the defendant was not an accident. Under Rule 412, evidence is prohibited to prove that a victim engaged in other sexual behavior or a victim sexual predisposition. This means evidence is prohibited to prove, for example, in situation where a victim has been raped, that a victim had a specific sexual predisposition that led to her being raped. Now, the exception to this rule is in criminal cases, evidence of a specific instance of a victim's sexual behavior may be allowed to prove that someone else other than the defendant was the source of semen or injury or physical evidence. Also, to prove consent. And in civil cases, evidence of that nature may be allowed if its property value outweigh the harm to the victim. Finally, habit evidence is in the form of a person's habit or an organization's routine practice, and habit evidence is admissible.